welcome to a new episode of the Sweet Kitty Crafts podcast channel. My name is Jolanda and I'm coming to you from the Netherlands. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. We had a heat wave in the Netherlands. It was very warm, over the 30 degrees, close to 40 degrees Celsius. So I had no energy to podcast. And some of you asked me where I am, so I thought today's a cooler day and we're here in my crafting area of my bedroom, my own little yarn store you can call it. I'm very happy with it. Everything is quite organized. I did that a few weeks ago, so I'm very happy with it. I got a ton of finished objects. That's what happens when I don't record for a month. I got tons of things to show you. I'm not sure if I can do everything in one session or maybe divide it over a few episodes. We'll see how it goes. So welcome and thank you so very much for spending time with me and checking out this channel. It will be mainly about knitting, some crochet, spinning, all kinds of creative things. And yeah, I've got big plans. I finished a lot and I really enjoy my knitting. Knitting is part of my daily thing. It's my lifestyle. I can't I can't imagine a life without crafting and knitting. So, the things I want to show you. Let's start with the one who's closest by. This is a very nice top. I used some cotton, 100% cotton yarn. It was a yarn I was given by somebody. It was a very big cone of, I don't know how many 100 grams of yarn, but it was laying there and I thought, well, let's look for a project that I can make the yarn into. So this is, let's have a little look, the Reltio Ripples top by Irmian Designs. The original top has contrasting colors in the lace sections, which absolutely was lovely and nice, but I thought it would accentuate things where I maybe don't want it to be. So there was a tubular cast on, which I've never done. It is not hard, but it is really a pain to do. But it looks very nice and very polished, so that was a new thing I learned and I tried. So yeah, I haven't worn it yet. I took some pictures. I think the color is lovely. It would be great with jeans. I'm not sure about the see-through here. I probably have to wear a tank top underneath, I think. Maybe not, but not sure. Yeah, probably will have to. But overall, very pleased with this. So this is a finished object which whipped up real quickly actually, because you don't have to do sleeves, and put that away so my yarn is going to be visible. There are cats swarming around here. If you hear crinkling, there's a little bag here with a tail and there's catnip in there. Molly loves to rub her face against it, and well, cute. The other finished object, I totally would have forgotten, is my spring, even kijken, Awakening spring jacket, and it is designed by Drops, and I made it out of Drops cotton, Drops Paris, which is 100% cotton, and it is quite an Aran, I think it's an Aran weight yarn, so it knits up real quickly. I even had no problems with the sleeves. It is, maybe I can stand up. See, it's here is my waist, so it is hip size length, and just eyelet and plain sleeves, and on the back there's also eyelet. See, it's very easy pattern. I think it's a more boat line neckline, which also looks nice, and I wore this a ton because in the early mornings when it's a bit cool outside, this is lovely to put on, and because of the cotton it is not as warm as the wool is, so that was really appreciated. So this is a Drops pattern. Drops patterns are all free, so you can really enjoy knitting this. I tried I did a test knit because, as I told you last time, I like to do test knits, and this was a really appealing one to me because I look at the yarn requirements, and if there's something that immediately thinks like, oh yeah, that's in my stash and I want to get rid of that, or I like to use that. This one was one of those projects. It is the Guel Cow by Vanessa Polo, and it uses 2 skeins, 2 balls of 100 grams of yarn, and this is Daramore's special DK, so it is a DK weight. And yeah, I run out of the light yarn because this last repeat should have been longer than that one, but that doesn't bother me. And you just can put it on, and you got a cowl, a shawl, and all of the above. It's lovely, I think, for the cooler weather when your neck is cold. You can pull it over your shoulders if you want it more like that. This is also always a thingy. I don't know how to wear it, but I think it will do its own thing after you put it on for a while. And you can also pull it forward, so it is nice and long, and I enjoyed knitting this. It is very very easy. It's just a ripple pattern, which is always yarn overs and 2 togethers, and it makes really lovely. All kinds of colors I used. You of course can use hand dyes, whatever. I just chose these 2, and I think it turned out pretty nice, and I'm very pleased with this. So this is super easy to wash, and I asked her if it needed severe blocking, because that is not going to work with acrylic yarn. She said no, I hardly blocked it at all. So what I did, I just washed it and I hang it over something and let gravity do its thing, and I think that that turned out very well. Don't need to do anything else with this. So this will be waiting in my cupboard for cooler weather. Also very nice. Observing my cats who both here. Daisy just turned 14 yesterday. She's an old lady now. She's my Persian kitty, but she doesn't follow me everywhere. Sorry. Another top, because yeah, it's warm and you don't want to wear sweaters and things. I want to knit all the sweaters, but it was just too warm. I was in my local yarn store where I saw a lovely skein of hand dyed yarn with some golden stellina, and when I saw the colors, it totally reminded me of a skein I had dyed real in the beginning when I started yarn dyeing, and it was in my shop for ages. So I pulled that out, combined the 2 together, and I used the helical knitting, I think they call it. It's very interesting. You get no lines where you change skeins. You change skeins every row. So it is more red in real. Oh my! It is more red in real life. It looks very purple here, but it's a wine red. But yeah, that's the lighting. There's nothing you can do about it. Also, very easy pattern. She has you cast on for the neckline, which is just a rib, and not join it and join it later in the back, which I have no problem with. I really like that. So you can see very clearly where the back of your shirt is, and also no problems with twisting accidentally all the stitches you casted on. So this is a yoked construction with the last part using raglan increases to make a nice fit. This is also a thing I did not try on. I made some nice pictures, but as I'm starting to wear things, I will update the pattern and the photos. This took the total of the 2 skeins. I used everything up, and it is a superwash merino with nylon, so it is wool. I don't think I can wear this as it is when it's so warm. Maybe on a day like this I could, but then my arms would get cold. I don't know. We'll see. I wore a wool thing yesterday with short sleeves and it itches and it's so warm. I think I prefer something with cotton. But this is also very nice to wear over long sleeved tee, which I also love to wear. The pattern is Breeze Away by Laura Ayler. And I'm subscribed to her newsletter, so if she has a sale you can benefit from that early on. And I think this was on sale, so yeah, it's just a very easy top. And what I like about these plain tops, because there are a lot of patterns by Boyland Knitworks, which I love, like Titania, but the shape is not something that fits my body type. I don't like boxy things. I don't think, maybe it looks good, but that's not something I like to wear. I like to wear something that is not real fitted, but fits more, you know, not drop shoulders. I'm not a fan of that, because the bulk under the arm, and well, that's my personal preference. But I thought if I had a blank canvas like this, you can totally use the bottom part of Britannia, which is the beautiful lace, which really is the eye catcher, and incorporate it in this kind of pattern. Now later on I'll show you another pattern which also is absolutely suitable for that, and I can totally see that happening. And if you have a lovely lace pattern that you want to try because you saw it somewhere, or you got it in a book, or it's just a lace edging, or you want to crochet a lace edging on the bottom, these will be absolutely amazing to use that with. This is just ribbing? No, it's not ribbing, it's garter stitch. And after I washed it, I just sometimes I lay it down to dry, and sometimes if I want to let the gravity help, I'll put it on a hanger and put it outside, but I make sure it is quite dry before I hang it out, because it will otherwise stretch very long. If I sound weird, if you're sniffling, it's the allergies. It's crazy. I was really sick, just about all the allergies, all the pollens, and my body was complaining a lot. Let's see, let's have, yes, okay, what else is there? Let's pull those two things down. So I think last time I talked to you about a test knit, which was not an easy one because of the twisted stitches and the bubbles and the berries. I'm just drinking some sparkly water with blueberry taste. So that's okay. That was the Lovely Top by Imke von Natusius. She is a German designer. And this was finished quite quickly after the podcast. I have some lovely pictures of me wearing it on Ravelry. And if you friend me on Ravelry, you can easily see what your friends have been up to, what pictures have been that they have been posting. So that's very nice to see what you're all up to. So that would be nice. And I try to put everything that I'll make and progress on my Ravelry pages. So if you think, oh well, that's a pattern I would like, or that's a yarn I would like, you go to my Ravelry page, which is Jolanda Loves Yarn, and then you can look up my projects and you click on the project you like, or you would like to know anything about. And there's also a link to the pattern, so you can click on the pattern and you can buy it there, or it's for free, you can download it, or maybe you got it in your library and it says so too. So this is knitted out of Drops Charisma, which is a worsted, light worsted weight yarn, and it is all in reverse stockinette stitch, which I was never a fan of, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, and I really like this. Oh, that's love. So this is also a very lovely knit, and this looks amazing. I really love that. Really got some compliments about those things, and that's why I chose the berry color, because I really see that's berries, berries, berries. So the back is the same. I already wore this quite a few times and really like that. So another beast is the got some sea change from Jennifer Steingas, and I talked about this. I think it was also the last podcast. I did this in combining hand knitting with machine knitting. I've got a flatbed knitting machine over there. My sock knitting machine is over there. If I got some time left, I might show you some, because some people were interested in that. But what this is a bottom-up sweater construction, and what I did knit the sleeves flat on the knitting machine, and I started with waste yarn and ended with waste yarn. So was the body. The body has side seams because the knitting machine does not have enough needles to make a whole garment in the round. It would have if I would have attached the second bed, but as I explained, I can't work with that thing on. So I had to do a lot of seaming. This was also a provisional cast on here and ended with waste yarn there. So what I did after I finished those pieces, I seamed the side seams. I picked up the stitches all around, so from both where it's the front piece and the back piece. So I turned it in circular knitting, and I knitted those lovely color work things and the ribbing and did a bind off. I did the same for the sleeves, so I seamed it first and then I picked up stitches and I knitted this. The sleeves were very small, so I think I ripped back until here and re-knitted it because they were so tight, and I hope they're not too tight right now. I haven't tried this on because it's just way too warm. I see the thread sticking out. I do tend to weave in the ends immediately, I have no problem with that. So after you all finished those three things, you were just where you're supposed to be if you were hand knitting everything. So then I put everything on circular needle and I knitted all of this just by hand, and I think the combination is absolutely very good. I don't think you can really see any difference between hand knitting and machine knitting. I did make some weird mistakes. I think it was on this sweater. If I can find it now, I'm very happy, because it was annoying me for a very long time. I think I did something wrong with the wraps and turns. Well, yeah, I think it is here. And this is annoying. Look at that. I think something went wrong there. What can you do? Nothing, just learn to live with it. And it is on the front side, so I'm kind of bummed with that. Maybe duplicate stitches, but you can't see the bump, you know, it's gonna be thicker. I think it will attract more than if I don't do anything. I think I really like this, and the color is nice. The yarn is this yarn, and you're supposed to do, no, you're not supposed to do, you don't have to do anything, you can do what you want, but the idea was the color would change here, and I thought it was just the ribbing, and then I looked at other patterns and I thought, well, this is not right, I should have done this. I didn't see it on the instructions. Well, I had an important phone call, so I had to disappear for a little bit, and I changed in something cooler because temperatures are rising. I think I talked about the yarn I used for this, which is Cloudborne Fibers Highland DK. It's a non-superwash wool, and I just could not see on the chart the color changes because I have printed it in black and white, and I totally missed it. I was kind of bummed about it, but not bummed enough to rip it back. So I think I tackled it. No. too soon. Because of the enormous heat. You really can't knit on sweaters or anything that covers your lap. So what have I done? I made some dishcloth. I made a whole stack of them. And because it's the end of the school year, almost, I think it's 2 more weeks before the boys get home from school. They want to give gifts, and there's nothing better than handmade, in my opinion. So I had a few patterns. I had some farmhouse dishcloth pattern, and the pattern is only available on handspun.com. I would not bother by the pattern because it's not that spectacular, and the same kind of patterns are all over Ravelry. So I used the grandma's favorite dishcloth pattern as a knitted pattern, and I did some crochet stitches, which is goes so quickly. So Patrick already sorted some of them, so this is going to go to his taxi driver. And so this is a knitted one, the grandma's favorite dishcloth, and this is a crocheted one. See, that was one of the farmhouse dishcloth patterns. So these will go very nice together. It's this is an how do you call it, mercerized cotton, which is a bit sturdier, and the blue was drops cotton 50-50, 50 acrylic, 50 cotton, which is much softer. And I will add some handmade soap, which I have a stack of, and nicely wrap it. The second one will be for his teacher, and this is also the knitted one, which is a bright orange. And I was long time ago, I had bought a pattern on the same website, handspun.com, and I wanted to make a table runner, but it was, I have to say, the patterns that I bought from them are not the best. But I had this little square, and I thought, well, I'm not going to finish the table runner because you had made a million kinds of squares. So I just added borders and borders and borders and some lovely shells. So this is a very nice dishcloth, face cloth. I use them as face cloth, but people use them as dishcloth. So these will go together nicely. And there was another square of that pattern, which is this one, and I added this granny square, made it a granny square. Works. It's actually a very nice textured stitch pattern. See? Which is crochet, another granny's dishcloth. I like to combine colors to excuse me, use up all the yarns. Another knitted one. Oh god, oh, I'm sorry. I think the coughing will start again. So more to go. 2 more knitted ones, and these are so easy. If you watch TV, you can do it. You can do it without looking or hardly looking. And some more. It is also nice stitch pattern. See, it's more textured, so that's nice for my face wash. And this is also a nice one, and the instructions are very vague in the patterns from Annie's catalog. There's just written words, there are no pictures to tell you anything. So there was one I just could not figure out. Whatever. There was a time I had a subscription, you know, VIP members, you get so much points, and for the points you can buy free patterns. I ended that because if you have to look for patterns, really look, because there's nothing you really like, that's not a good idea. So we got much more to talk about. Telephone call was for Michael's future. He passed his exam with flying colors. He got a 9 for his internship. Wow, they were so proud of him. They weren't as proud as I was, but he did so extremely well. he really deserved it. That's what his mentor said. So amazing. And now we just made an appointment to go and visit his temporary job, kind of job, trying to find out what he's capable of, what he wants to do, and after 6 months they will look at things, reconvene things, and see which way we're gonna walk with him. So good progress after 6 months. I started in January, starting up the whole process. Thought, well, things will be finished way before summer break. Well, that did not happen. There was only one date available, which we could come and she could come, and he has to take off from school. But I don't think that is going to be a problem because he already did his exam. Finished objects are over now. It was a very big parade. Well, there kind of are tons of finished objects. I kind of all my sock yarn is gone over there. So I knitted it all up in sock tubes. You won't believe how many. So these are old tubes and they're all separated by waste yarn, which I gotta unravel for a little bit, fold them up and make them ready to go in my shop. And I already have, you won't believe how many, a whole shoebox full, I think 2 shoeboxes full of sock tubes that are already separated. Oh, you won't believe how nice of the colors are in here. This Drops Fable. This is a Drops Delight, which is also a delight. This is some of my hand-dyed yarn, striped hand-dyed yarn. Look at that. Amazing, if I can say so myself. I missed my calling, but I won't be doing not much hand dyeing because my body can't take that. I got such an enormous, how do you call that? After you've done too much, you won't be able to do anything for who knows how long, weeks. That's not worth it. I love doing it, but the pain is not in comparison. The sock knitting is gonna be okay if I don't overdo it. So this is also a very nice one. Are you bored already? If you're bored, you go get yourself a drink or something, because this goes on and on and on. I've done more than... Do you think I overdid it? No, I don't have any obsessions. This is something I found in my stash. I made some socks out of this for Patrick years ago, and he can't, because he totally, I think he grew out and he's so rough on his socks. So I found some scraps, and I think I can make some shorty socks out of that. This is some cotton yarn, cotton with wool, but which I dyed, so I found that. This is also kind of nice. And this is the last one on this whole pile. And there's a box full, just as I said, I won't bore you with all that. There's also a lot of things on my knitting machine. I have knitted scarves, just garter stitch scarves. See, and I think this would be great as a present going into the next color. Look at that. You can see the glitter, right? So these are, see, it's amazing, don't you think, as a gift. You can see my mom and my grandma being, my mom and my mother-in-law. I think they will be the recipients of these. See, that's what it is on the knitting machine. And garter stitch can only be done if you use a double bed or a garter carriage. And I have the latter. So I'm knitting wider strips now because I thought maybe a cowl would be nice. And I just watched the other day the podcast of Kia's board, and she makes ponchos out of just strips. She would be amazing for this. And I'm just looking at a finished object. I forgot. This has a story though. I made handspun yarn quite a while back. It was from a club from Hilltop Cloud, which is in the UK. And it was a lovely merino silk and soy, which is very nice and soft. But the color, I immediately knew that would be not my color. So it was a chrome yellow, which is like, for me, looks like a dirty yellow. And that's just my opinion. I don't like it. It didn't look good on me. But I had the perfect pattern for it. It was the Ziggy shawl by Hohi Locatelli. I heard it on a different podcast, and that's just what I wanted to make, and I wanted to use that yarn, and I was thinking, oh, am I gonna just knit it? Just knit it. And I thought, oh, as long I just caked up the yarn, and I thought, this is just not my color. I'm not gonna enjoy that. So I made a little video while I was over dyeing the yarn. I had to skein it up again. I over dyed it. First I did crimson, then I did some purplish, which is called braam in Dutch. And after that I stopped because I thought, well, that was a nice color. I can live with that. It was a brownish, yellowish kind of color. And then it dried and it was so pale again. And I saw the yellow pop through again. So I'm like, oh, let's dye it again. I did not film that part, but I put all the crimson I had again in the pot. I did all the yarn in there. And it turned out in this. And this is a brownish red. And yes, you can still see the yellow in there. Now you can't see the yellow, but there's a yellowish glow. And this is the Ziggy shawl from Hohi Locatelli. And it is lovely. It is lovely. And I already wore this, and it is not even blocked, but I'm gonna block it. Because if you have got the windows open and me and my neck, I'll just put it on like this. And I love it. It's such a lovely shawl. The lace is something I have to focus on because my brain is totally, I don't know if it's the warmth, if it's all the things that's going on, but I can't think. I can't think for 5 minutes. So this is something I had to concentrate on. And then there is 20 rows of garter stitch and this piece of lace. So that is absolutely a joy to knit. But as I expected, I ran out of yarn because the last piece of garter stitch should have been as wide as all the other sections. So that should be 20 rows. I think I have half, maybe not even. And after the garter stitch there should have been one more lace repeat, which makes it even more gorgeous. But I didn't have any yarn. I didn't want to use a contrasting color. I just love it as it is, and it is big enough. It's big enough for me. The yarn is because it's hand spun, it varies between fingering and DK probably, and she uses, well, it's more, I think it's 2 meters in diameter because I'm a 184 and this is bigger than my wingspan. So for me this is big enough. Another finished object. And all the lovely patterns that are being released. There was a new one from Janice Steingas. I bought it. There was also another lovely new pattern. Sweet Paprika Designs is Aldivia. And look at this pattern. Because as I'm going to show you in a minute, I did some combining of handspun and the drops charisma. That's turning out real nice. And if you have 100 grams of handspun, you can totally do that. You can totally do that. Very inspiring. I have a pile of bags over there with projects and yarn already combined. Oh, I don't have enough time. This is the Althida from Jennifer Steingas. And this is the one I combined my handspun with the drops charisma. So this was my handspun, which was very early handspun, and that doesn't matter. With this, it's a light blue. The pictures on my Ravelry suggest that it's kind of white, but it's not. Oh, just want to knit on this, but the heat is preventing me from. Look at that! Wow, look at this! It's so amazing. Look at it. Oh, that's great. A cat is vomiting. What the fuck? Should watch my language. I will cut it out. Isn't that pretty? Because of the variation of colors. Look at that. Oh, that's awesome. I love that. It looks even better if you show it like that. If you close up, you won't be able to see the things as they really are. And that's in many things. If you're creative, cross stitch or painting, you gotta step back and look at it, and then suddenly you love it again. What else do I've got? I have a work in progress, and it is the Late Bloomer pattern by Heidi Kiermaier. Now, I wanted to make that for a long time, but all wool sweaters. So I dug out a cotton yarn, a cotton, I think, let's see, it's Drops Bell. What is it? It is something with linen, I think. Oh dear. Cotton, viscose and linen, that's what it is. Drops Bell. And I had all kinds of colors. And I thought I was using the, is it turquoise? No, it is tissue, sorry. Well, a teal with a white. But I'm not 100% happy with it. Don't know why. The yarn is kind of, you know, it's not very smooth. So the color work is not showing up as I did expect this, but I'll probably finish it. Well, looks much better now. I told you, it's not blue now, it's steel. The neckline is ridiculously wide, so that's another thing that I'm not so happy about. But this is waste yarn, the pink. Yeah, it looks nice. It looks very nice. So this is the yoke. Yeah, I don't know what I'm complaining about. You can't pick up this yarn, do the short rows, do the neckline. What's wrong, Molly? And then it's gonna be fine. So that's the Late Bloomer by Heidi Kiermaier, also a thing. I'm not so very, it's not so addictive. So that's kind of the thing that I tell myself to knit on every morning for a half an hour or an hour, and then I can knit on something else. I hear more podcasts doing that, so I just wanted to mention that things that you're not really excited about, knit for it for half an hour every day, and then you will get excited, or it will eventually get finished. So that is a long sleeve cardigan sweater, but I will make it short sleeves because it's cotton and I want to wear it now. That's one thing. I also have, I love the name of this pattern. The designer is Marie Annarella, and she had a sale a while back, and I bought quite a lot. I think I bought 3 or 4 of her patterns, just because she has an amazing shaping. She uses the continuously sleeve method, I think. So you got a set in sleeve, but it is knitted from the top down, all in one piece. And this one is called Knit Me Baby One More Time. I thought that was hilarious. Love that. So I bought myself a lovely bag from Yibero Shoes. That here is that pink. And I got with a swap with Luli. I got 2 of her pins. And I didn't have no pins. I did not have any pins. None. I love that. I'm in the mini skein swap with Luli from from Luli's podcast. And she's in the UK and she pairs up people and we send each other 6 mini skeins all wrapped up, and that way we get ourselves an advent calendar at the end of the year. So every quarter she pairs you up with 1 or 2 people. You can tell you what you want. And yeah, I did it last year. So I did all the wrapped up mini skeins I put in my advent calendar from all the little mini mittens. So I'm gonna do that again. It's very nice. You get all kinds of yarn, hand dyed or commercial, and I don't mind. I absolutely don't mind. So this is the start of the top. Knit me baby one more time. So this is my hand dyed, and it was just 1 skein laying there on the shelves, and yeah, this is gonna be the top. You see, this is the sleeve. It's not a raglan, it's just a satin sleeve, and it's amazing. If this turns out like it looks amazing. I mean the fit, you know. Then I'm gonna use the you know, the pattern I just talked about from Boyland Knitworks. I have the pattern, but I wanted to modify the top, so I'm using this one then as my top part, and this will be the contrasting color for the bottom part. And I got some other one that really fits, so maybe I'll stripe that. It is a striped top. It is very subtle striping because the contrast is not that high. So you could, she also says you could use a fade if you want to. See, it is very subtle striped. So I will see. Yeah, at least I need more than 2 skeins, so I probably can do that. And the bottom ribbing is also the contrast color, so I'll have to do that, or I will run out of yarn too soon. It would be sad, because I know cropped tops are very popular at the moment, but I don't have the size. I mean, I don't want my belly to stick out. That's as simple as it is. So you have to wear something underneath, and that's also an option. But the lavray top was as cropped as I got this far, and it was mid-hip, I think. But that is not really cropped, is it? Doesn't matter. It does not matter. I need my tissue again. Where did I put it? Oh dear. I have myself a new one. So I'll probably will be exceeding all the limits of normal podcasting time, but here's my circular sock knitting machine. I will bring you forward so you can look and come see and have a look. Okay, let's see if this works, because I can't see what I'm doing, and I hope this is in focus, and otherwise, if you can't see anything but me, I will not put it on YouTube. So this is my big ball of waste yarn, if you can see that. Yes, you can. So the only thing you have to do is crank. So it will go a bit rough because of the nuts that is in there. So the waste yarn is loose, and this is just cranking socks tubes. There's nothing to do with making socks. But because if you have different recipients, I let my sons choose the sock tube they like, and then I will make the calves, heels and toes on their size, you know. So I caked up all this yarn. So you have to cake up the yarn, or otherwise it will not work, because if it not runs smoothly, the yarn, then you have troubles with your tension. So maybe you saw it, but I just put up the weight, because the weight needs to be lifted now and again. This is annoying because put it nothing. You can put it on a thing like this, but that doesn't work always. So I'm gonna see if it works now. At least it will not fall over anymore. So this is how you crank your socks. There is a counter here, so you can count the rows. Is that something you want to do? If you want to make a cuff or a toe or a heel, there are all kinds of things you can do. But for now, I'm just cranking away. And this is how the sock tube is being made. So I can do those things for a very long period of time. So I've got the other knitting machine here, and what I will do is unravel. I'll cut a strand here, and then I will pick out a whole row. I have no clue if you see anything. I'll pick out a whole row, and I don't even have my glasses on. So you get the idea. And then they will be separated, and then they will look like this. See? And I'll put the label back on if I have one. So here's waste yarn. You can pick those stitches up at home. And these are sock tubes in all kinds of shades, sizes and forms. I really love this one. Yeah, I love that one. See, drops fable, another drops fable. These are 50 grams. This is another one with lovely pooling. I don't like pooling, but that is lovely. So those are 100 grams. And well, this is kind of the sock knitting machine. Mine has 72 stitches, needles, and depending on the tension, you can make your sock wider, tighter or looser. I usually use 64 stitches for my socks, but since I'm knitting mostly for my boys, and I'll make tighter knitted socks for me, I'll probably fit in there. I'll let you know about that. But these socks are much more tightly knit than I ever knit my socks. This is very tight. Look at that. Stretches very nicely. This will fit me very well, even though it's 72 stitches. So this is the sock knitting machine. We're talking about knitting machines. This is my brother knitting machine. It's a flatbed knitting machine with tons of weights, because otherwise it keeps dropping stitches. I will move this out of the way and show you a little bit about how this works. It makes a lot of noise, so I will stop talking, and be aware if you're wearing headphones. I will do just 1 or 2 rows, and it really you program the pattern you want. This is a 3x3 rib. I press start, and it goes on its own. as you can imagine, that will take a long time. But that's okay, because you don't have to really do anything. Just control the process and make sure there are no drop stitches, because you can lift them up as soon as you see that they are dropped. I have my spinning wheel here over here. I did a little bit of spinning. So this is just plain merino, and I had a kilo of it. I bought that about 2 years ago. Never spun anything of it. This is just single ply. I just wind it off my bobbins with my ball winder. Just leave it like this, and after I have enough, I'm gonna use that for plying. Words. I'm getting hot now. I have some projects set aside for my handspun. That are the plans I have for the future. I will grab just a few. I really want to show you the handspun ones. Sorry, I don't dig deep. So this is one combination, and this will probably be the humulus from words. Isabel Kramer. Of course, I knew that, but I had leftover merino, a lot of leftover. I have this, so I think this will become a humulus in one of my future knits. So they're all in here. And I'll zip it close, because Molly is a yarn eater and that's not healthy for her. Another lovely pattern I found in a book and I copied is a colorwork one, and it is this one. Has it a name though? Fire All Yoked Cardi. It is available on Ravelry, and as soon as I start it, I will make a project page and you can find it there. But what I've got, and it is not enough, because, and it's going to be shorter sleeves I guess, but this, and the lovely red, and then there will be this. So these 4 colors will become this cardigan in one of the future knits. So that's really something I'm looking forward to, because that makes a big dent in my handspun stash, which I want, which everybody wants, right? But also remember that one skein can make a real nice yoke pattern, combined with some, making noise, I'm sorry, combined with some lovely wool yarn. These are the colors, and the white has to be in that also. So I think that's everything I wanted to show you. Maybe more than I wanted to show you, but there are some few things I want to wrap up. If you haven't watched my latest podcast, the one before this one, please do, because there are still two prizes that were not claimed. One is already sent off to its owner and already been received. So if you participated in the last episode's podcast, then please head over and have a look. And then there's one other thing. I saw lately on a few podcasts that they started up Buy Me a Coffee thing, and it's nothing you have to do, or just if you feel like it. You can click the link below and buy me a coffee, and I will use the money for new equipment, or I have to send out packages for you as prizes. I can use it for the postage, because as you all know, I cannot work. I don't have any income, so I don't want to be pity for anything. But there's not much I can do. I can sit, I can lay down, I hardly can walk. I do everything outside on my scootmobile, because I just can't walk. And at the moment my ankle and foot is hurting so bad that I even can't walk half. I can walk half inside, but that will pass. That's nothing to feel sorry about, because that's just my life and it's never been different. But sometimes, yeah, I wish I could participate in producing some income, and try that in my Etsy shop. And yeah, sometimes that works, but as I said, I can't do the dyeing on a regular basis, so I don't have regular updates, and yeah, that's just the way it is. So I'm concentrating on all the good things. I have crafting time, I can sit and craft, and I rest a lot in between because of my bad back and neck. But I'm very grateful for everything I can still do, that my hands are still working, because if not, I wouldn't know what to do, really. I wouldn't know what to do. So if you enjoyed this podcast, feel free to subscribe or like. That is also always very, very welcome. And if you want to leave a message, that even much more appreciated, because I really want to have contact, because I feel like you're my friends, and you're my only friends, really, because that happens when you're indoors all the time, and yeah, that's just how it goes. Well, I hope you found this inspirational. I get a lot of inspirations from other podcasters. I hope you like this, and I hope you will return after all my rambling about things. If you have suggestions, feel free to leave them below. I know some people ask me about some tutorials. I will do them as soon as I feel up to it. That is really, really all decided by my body. So I will if I can. And yeah, enjoy all the things you can do. Enjoy every day, enjoy the knitting. Be mindful of the knitting, and enjoy the little creatures that walk outside, or maybe are indoors with you, keeping you company. And I hope to see you soon. All the best from the Netherlands, and until next time. Bye.